All right, Number Corner today, we're looking back at our collection for the month. And remember, we were measuring the weight of a carrot and how that mass changed from day one to the end. Noticing that when our carrots had sat out for a long time, they looked very different and gross compared to what they started like. So, our experiment found that our carrot went from 138 grams all the way down to 26 grams, and it's kind of stayed there for the last little bit. And our other carrot was at 73 grams, and it's down to 9 and has kind of been hanging out down at 9 for, like I said, the last couple days. So we noticed carrots left out change. They get kind of gross. All of the water and moisture inside of them evaporate away, and we're just kind of left with hard, gross, crusty carrots. Definitely don't want to eat those. They're going in the garbage. However, we're going to use that same idea to do some more work with graphing. When we introduced it, we spent quite a bit of time talking about how to graph things and, hey, I'm going to go over first and then up. So now today you're going to use some of that learning and interpret some data and then make another line graph of your own. All right, so we will go ahead and get started. You need to open your Number Corner book to page 13 and 14. It's titled Another Carrot Experiment. Mrs. Ozuna's class left a carrot sitting out for 12 days. The students measured its mass nearly every day and made a line graph to show what happened. Use the graph to answer the questions. All right, and I see that their graph is very similar to the one we made. How many days have passed and how many grams the carrot weighs. I noticed that it started out weighing more than what it does at day 12, right? So that's kind of the information we'll be looking at. What was the carrot's mass when the experiment started on day 0? So here is day 0 for a number of days that have passed. And what is the grams? What would you fill in? How much mass did the carrot lose in the first 2 days? Well, here's day 1, day 2. Oh, they have a dot on there. I noticed that it's somewhere between 50 and 60. So you have to kind of use your estimation skills to say, well, about how many grams did it lose? How far did it go down? How many days did it take until the carrot stopped losing any mass? What would show me that the carrot is not losing any mass anymore? Thinking about that and what pattern we might see. Which day was the mass of the carrot 35 grams? So I'm going to look over here on my grams. 35 is going to be between 30 and 40. So at what day does that pass through that 35, right? I'm going to look at the bottom and see what that is. How much more mass did the carrot lose during the first 4 days, days 0 to 4, than during the 4 days after that, 4 to 8? Ooh, this is a multi-step problem. You have to find out what is the loss here, and then what is the loss here, and then compare them and then subtract that. How much more was it? And then there's a circled point on the graph right here. What does this point tell me? You might think about grams. You might think about number of days that have passed. You might think about how you would explain what that point represents. All right, then on page 14, you're going to be graphing some. So remember that when you graph, you find out how far over and then how far up. We want to keep that pattern. You're making a second line graph. Just like we had a second carrot that we graphed, this class does as well, and they need your help putting it on there. So starting weight, that would be on day 0, right? Where are you going to put that? Where is 90 grams on it? So I'm going to go over 0, up 90, and I'd put my point right here, right? Then I would look down here. Oh, day 2, they didn't weigh it on day 1. It was only on day 2. So I'll go to day 2 and at 75 grams. So over 2 and then up to 75. And I know 75 is halfway between 70 and 80. So I'm going to put my point right about here, right? Okay. And then I'm going to continue on paying attention to the day and how many ounces over and then up. After you finish that second line graph, You're going to answer some questions, you're going to make some observations about this experiment and how it was similar or different to what we came up with. Page 12 of your student book for Number Corner should have the graph we made up through day, whatever day it was we got to, let me see, up through day 5, and what was similar, what was different. We don't have that other data, so you just can kind of compare it to those first things, or what might you say about this carrot experiment and the second line that you graphed. All right, so finishing pages 13 and 14 in your Number Corner book.